Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, February 14th, 2026, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App $ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NBA All-Star Saturday night in Los Angeles. It's going to start here in just a few minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for a little bit of NBA All-Star Weekend. Happy Saturday and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, I had to give you the guy that, has been really the workhorse during NBA All-Star Weekend, and that's going to be Con Kneppel, participating, obviously, in the matchup yesterday. And I was actually really impressed on what they were able to do, on the court with a little bit of defense, and they were going at it. Obviously, at the very end, Team Vince getting the victory. But that was kind of a bright side of that. I got a chance to be able to watch a little bit of the Trucks last night as well. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. And on the right, we have to go with Rip City's very own Dame Dalla. And again, Damian Lillard, I hope he doesn't end up having any setbacks here today, but we know Dame can launch the threes, and Con Kneppel is going to be involved in a couple events today, as well as the event yesterday. Again, really putting in the extra work, and since we don't have Cooper Flagg available with the injury, I'm definitely looking at these two to see what they can do here later tonight. I think the thumbnail turned out pretty good here for Saturday night. We got the Daytona 500 and then the NBA All-Star game tomorrow. So depending on how late, Daytona goes, I'm going to try to squeeze in both if I can. But definitely excited to be able to see what we get in the three-point contest, obviously in the skills competition. Now, obviously, a little bit of a letdown with the participants in the dunk contest. But again, this isn't the same type of dunk contest that we've seen, in the 80s or 90s or even, 10 to 15 years ago, where we've seen, some of the best dunk contests in recent memory. But again, it just feels like you're not getting the best participants. And if they really want to be able to get the NBA All-Star Weekend, and, not only Saturday night, but also on Sunday, they need to go back to their roots. They need to go back to the rookie-sophomore game instead of having these, celebrity former player coaches coming in. Not that I didn't mind seeing Carmelo Anthony and Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and obviously Austin Rivers, do their thing yesterday. And there was a lot of competitive juices flowing. But I think rookie-sophomore, would definitely be better. And going back to the traditional Eastern Conference versus Western Conference instead of doing USA versus the world. But again, this NBA that we have with Adam Silver is completely different than with Stern. And again, I just hope that they realize that if they go back to kind of what was working in the past, you'll be able to get more eyeballs on the sport. And again, the one thing that they could dramatically improve is getting some of the better all-star dunkers to be in the dunk contest. I mean, if you're only going to have four guys, even if it ends up being guys that are a little bit up there in age, again, a lot of these all-stars don't want to participate in it, but it's a lot better than just having, some random kind of no-name guys participating. But again, the three-point contest should be good. Skills competition should be good. Really, the dunk contest might be the only thing that's slightly underwhelming. But even with that being said, when you end up having some of these guys that maybe a lot of us don't really know or not too familiar with, most of the time they'll end up showing up and showing out. And, hopefully it ends up being an entertaining Saturday, to say the least. Daniel in the building, what's good? Mike in the building, what's good? Seattle will have a team, sooner than later. And again, it will be announced shortly. I would assume it's going to be Seattle bringing the Sonics back, and then Vegas will get their team as well. And we got USA and Denmark here for the Winter Olympics. Not really sure why we haven't got into NBA All-Star Saturday. I mean, especially if they were promoting that it was going to start, at 2 p.m. And obviously it's Valentine's Day today. So normally they start this event around 5 p.m. Pacific, and then it kind of goes into the late evening. But since it is Valentine's Day, for those people who celebrate the holiday, obviously people that are going out or, have plans, that's why they ended up doing it a little bit early. So I understand. Normally we don't have Valentine's Day fall on this NBA All-Star Saturday weekend, but there's a first for everything. I believe the Super Bowl is going to be on Valentine's Day next year. So plan accordingly, obviously, on the calendar. But I'm not really sure how long we're going to be watching this USA versus Denmark. Obviously in the third period, USA up by 1. But again, you can't really ever trust, what they're going to be going over. And obviously with the Olympics partnered with NBC, they have a little bit of loyalty, to kind of cover some of these. But hopefully we'll be able to get into the NBA action. I want to be able to see the 3-point contest and the skills competition as well as the dunk. And again, as long as, I have enough time between Daytona and the obviously NBA All-Star game, I'm going to try to do both tomorrow. Obviously Daytona got pushed 1 hour earlier based on fear of rain. So that'll be on at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, which is very early. And then obviously once we get into the NBA All-Star festivities, that's going to be starting a little bit early as well. I believe it starts, the first matchup is at 2. And then they go into, kind of the round robin between the world and the team stars. And then they kind of go through each progression. So we'll see if I'll be able to do both. And as long as I have the energy, I'm going to try. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. And again, we are just waiting for NBC to switch the coverage for All-Star 2026 Los Angeles Saturday night. And definitely looking for Kneppel to do his thing, as well as Portland's very own Dame Dalla and Damian Lillard. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. So figured we would already be jumping into the action already, but I guess NBC and their loyalty to the Olympics being the main, company covering this. We have USA and Denmark going at it here in the Winter Olympics. And I'm not sure if we're going to have to watch this entire third period, 17 minutes left before we, tap in. But if that's the case, they should have been able to market this a little bit better and had all the NBA fans say, hey, this is going to be starting at 2:30 Pacific or 3 Pacific. A lot of us, have other things that we have to obviously get prepared for and whatnot, whether that's, going out to dinner or hanging out with friends and family, or if you have a significant other. But, hopefully we'll be able to tap into NBA All-Star Saturday night here sooner than later. I wish I would say I'm a little surprised by this, but I'm not. This is kind of a regular thing that happens on a lot of these networks. But, again, why promote that you're going to start it at 2 if you're not going to start it at 2 Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern? Less than 17 minutes left in the third period between USA and Denmark, whether you're watching on NBC, Peacock, or one of the affiliates. And I'm just hoping that we'll be able to get this tapped in sooner than later. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Seahawks ended up having a fantastic year. Only 3 losses, by a total of 9 points, dominated in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. And finally, we're tapping in to NBA All-Star Saturday. Looks like they're getting things kind of situated here with everyone that's going to be on the mic, as well as getting all the players set up in their respective areas on the court here in LA. And looks like we should be getting into the action hopefully sooner than later. I hope that we don't have to kind of go back and forth with, the Olympics and whatnot. But, again, we will wait and see. But I did end up watching, Team Vince and Team McGrady, Team Mello and Team Rivers go at it. We had 2 representatives there with Yang Hansen, obviously with the Austin Rivers team with the G League developmental roster. And I thought they played, Mello really, really tough. I think Mello was a little bit nervous, but Donovan Clingan came up big, as well as Reed Shepard. for the Rockets. And so, again, if it wasn't for Klingon and Reed Shepherd, they wouldn't even advanced against that G League roster. And then obviously we know in the finals, Team Vince ended up winning by 1. And again, it really came down to who was going to have the superstars. And again, if you end up having a guy like Concaneppel, you end up having a guy like Klingon, you end up having a guy like Edgecombe that ended up being victorious, hitting the free throw to end up edging out, obviously, in the championship against his cousin, Tracy McGrady. That was really the difference. Now, if Cooper Flagg was not injured, that would have gave a little bit more of a spark, to last night. But I was watching the NASCAR Truck Series because Tony Stewart was back for the first time in 10 years. And obviously you got Malcolm in the middle, Frankie Muniz, available in the trucks, as well as all of the regular truck roster. So I was kind of managing both at the same time. Truck Series ended up with a last lap kind of crazy victory. And again, I was a little surprised that there was as much defense as there was in the quote-unquote, rookie sophomore game, even though they split it up, between Carmelo Anthony, Austin Rivers, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. I wish they would go back to kind of the older format. Rookie sophomore format, I think, is better, but they're trying to be desperate to try to gain, some of the old school fans and getting some of those people that had the memories, of Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and Carmelo Anthony. So I know why they're doing it. But again, I was surprised on the, teamwork and the defense. Normally during All-Star weekend, especially in the All-Star game itself, typically it's alley-oops, no defense until maybe halfway through the fourth quarter. And then they start playing defense and, and then you actually get kind of a feel of the game. Now, back when Kobe was still alive, probably when the All-Star game was at its very best at the very end of it, the last 10 to 15 years, it's been kind of hit or miss. But again, you actually had defense, back when you had some of the GOATs and the legends like Kobe, rest in peace, that was still alive. But again, I don't really expect to see a whole lot of defense tomorrow, but hopefully I'm wrong. And again, hopefully in these events, they're going to bring it. Really, the only one I'm a little concerned about is the dunk contest, considering we have, relatively 4 no-name guys. And again, I wish they would be able to have guys, that would participate, whether it be and I know Giannis is hurt and, LeBron and, having something of that nature, and, or even getting some mid-tier guys that are a little bit more well-known. But, I guess it's one of those things that there is no desire, to do the dunk contest. But if they really care, about the fans and the league, they need to go back to like the 80s and 90s when I was watching, when you had Michael Jordan, when you had Dominique Wilkins, you had Clyde Drexler, you had Vince Carter a little bit later on, and you had those memories, of those amazing dunk contests. And it just feels like now that the, certain players would rather just be lazy, take in the environment, of All-Star weekend and, just try to go for alley-oops and, try to make it kind of like a Harlem Globetrotter type of game. But I know a lot of us real fans would rather have it be lower scoring. Like for me, I don't mind the alley-oops and the dunks, and that's all fine. But if they could actually play defense for 4 quarters and we could have a game, end with like a 115, 113 score rather than a score almost in the 200s, I think that would be something the fans would enjoy. You're still going to get the dunks and you're still going to get the alley-oops. You're just not going to get as many. And I think that would, help, with a little bit of the fandom. But they got Vince Carter here on the mic, and they're going to be going through some of these introductions. T-Mac and Mello involved as well. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, Mike. Again, it just depends if, significant others are in the picture or not. I'm going to be obviously working, and I work on pretty much every holiday, whether it's Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, we grind it out here. And, I'll spend a lot of time with the Paisley pup. And again, hopefully this will end up being something that we'll have something to talk about when it's all said and done. And I'm really rooting for Concaneppel and Damian Lillard to do their thing. And Caneppel participated yesterday, and he's going to be in 2 of the 3 events today. Obviously not the dunk contest, but, he is the front runner of Rookie of the Year with Cooper Flagg. Obviously, we know Edgecombe is, the real deal Holyfield as well. Those are probably your 3 best rookies at the moment. But it was nice to be able to see Yang Hansen and Donovan Klingon do their thing yesterday. So glad we have a little bit of Rip City representation. All right, looks like we're getting into the 3-point contest. And this is probably going to be the best thing out of the 3 events. And they're going to start it off with the introductions. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And again, I thought that the crowd was kind of, hit or miss, for yesterday's event. I thought there should have been a little bit more people there, especially since it is in LA. But again, at least the players brought it, and hopefully the players, bring it here on Saturday night. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Valentine's Day. Hasn't started yet. They had it slated for 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Then they cut into the Olympics because NBC is the main affiliate, and they were showing the USA hockey team for, I don't know, about 10, 15 minutes. And now we're just getting into the introduction. So we haven't started the 3-point contest yet. Queen Latifah is on the mic, and now they're just doing the introduction of the players. There we go. Let's go. Concanapple, baby. And again, the Hornets have been one of the hottest teams, in the league within the last 2 to 3 weeks. And Concanapple is one of the major reasons why. Let's go, Con. Donovan Mitchell. And again, he's got to be extremely happy to get James Harden in that trade. And that definitely gives the Cavaliers a little bit of a push to compete with the Pistons, Celtics, and the Knicks. Number 3, Denver Nuggets, point guard Jamal Murray. This is a pretty good class. And again, at least we have one event out of the 3 where you're actually, getting, it seems like, some of the players that actually care that want to win this. Miami Heat, Norman Powell. And I'm just hoping Concanapple and Damian Lillard will show out. Bobby Portis Jr. So introductions are going on right now. It's on NBC as well as Peacock. If you have those, obviously you can watch along. Tyrese Maxey getting introduced. But I don't think we really have a problem with any of the 3-point contestants every year. Usually they do a pretty good job on selecting those guys. 5-time All-Star Devin Booker. Got to be one of the favorites here tonight. But you just never know what guys are going to get into a rhythm or not. There we go. Dame Dalla, let's go. And again, has been injured all year. Let's go, Dame Dalla. Damian Lillard, he'll be ready at the end of the season. And again, we've been banged up and we've been hurt. Haven't had a point guard for a couple months. We finally just got Scoot Henderson back. He's starting to look good, and can't wait to be able to see Scoot and Dame and the rest and Denny Advia do their thing when they're all healthy. All right, Queen Latifah finally here. 8 players competing in a 2-round time shooting competition. 4 racks, 4 regular balls worth 1 point, and 1 money ball worth 2 points. Once all the money ball, and then you got 1 all money ball rack, 5 balls, 2 points each, and that can be placed anywhere the player chooses. 2 from the logo shots are worth 3 points each, and then the top 3 players will advance. And if you're just getting settled in here on Valentine's Day, pull up a chair, grab a beverage or a refreshment, get some snacks. We've got Reggie Miller, Jamal Crawford in the building. And hopefully we end up getting a competitive here 3-point contest to get NBA All-Star Saturday night going here on a good note. And again, I was impressed with the defense and the effort yesterday. With the action, with a lot of the rookies and the sophomores. And again, hopefully that'll carry over here today. All right, Dame Dalla on the mic. That would be wild if Damian Lillard actually wins this. He's a two-time three-point contest winner in 2023 and 2024. Hasn't played all year. I mean, that would be a crazy thing for Lillard, who hasn't played all season, to win. Like, I don't expect him, to win. I don't necessarily expect him to get to the final. But, if he is able to get into that rhythm, I mean, he could be a three-time winner. But again, what would that mean against all the other current players, that have been playing all season? You lose to a guy that hasn't played. But again, you're not really playing a full game. You're just going to the racks and trying to hit those threes. So, you got to think Lillard has a chance. It just depends on if he has a good lift in his legs. Obviously, we know his form is going to be, top tier. It's just about being able to get into that rhythm on those racks. Next up on the mic here, Jamal Murray. Ooh, buffalo wings and pizza. That sounds good, man. And again, we got the Daytona 500 and the NBA All-Star game tomorrow. So definitely should be a fun overall All-Star weekend, and the NASCAR, season with the Daytona 500, kind of getting everything in full tune and in full gear. Definitely excited for both of those events tomorrow. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Players are warming up here from three-point range, just trying to get themselves into a rhythm. And it looks like we're going to start the event in less than 2 minutes. So they're going to give the players 2 minutes to warm up. Everyone is, kind of getting the rhythm. As I'm watching Damian Lillard, he's on point early on. 3 in a row from the top of the key, looking good. And again, it will be interesting to see strategy-wise where they have the money ball rack. And a lot of times that'll be the difference between advancing or not advancing here tonight. Yeah, and it's going to be on early. They pushed the time 1 hour earlier, so it was going to be on at 11:30 Pacific. Now it's on at 10:30 Pacific, but I imagine that the race may end up starting around 11:15-ish. But the coverage is going to be starting a little bit earlier because fear of rain. And normally it does rain, in Daytona. But again, they're going to have the events on a little bit early. And then obviously with the NBA All-Star festivities, normally it's on 5 o'clock. Is usually when the start time for this is, but it's Valentine's Day, and 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific usually is for the All-Star game. But again, with the festivities going on and Valentine's Day and everything else, they've started the times a little bit earlier. So NBA All-Star weekend tomorrow will start at 2 p.m. Pacific, I believe. So, and then it'll go through the world and the team stars. They got a couple USA teams and then a world team. The world team looks much better, but again, there are some injuries, so we'll see kind of how it all plays out. All right, here we go. Last 15 seconds of the participants warming up. Reggie Miller and Jamal Crawford getting very nostalgic here on the mic. And hopefully that this will end up being I assume this will be the best event. I mean, obviously in the dunk contest, even if it's a lot of no-name participants, we're still going to get excited about the dunks, regardless if it's someone that we know or don't. But again, with this is going to be probably the most name recognition individuals besides the next event with the skills competition, where you're going to have 2 individuals that are in the NBA, and then you're going to have a throwback player on each team. So I'm kind of looking forward to that event as well, to see how the throwback players, how in shape they are and if they can actually help their team win. So I think the first 2 events are going to deliver, and then the dunk contest, again, doesn't give you, the best dunkers and the most famous players, but hopefully they end up showing up. And again, over the years, we've seen guys like Mac McClung, kind of make a name for himself. But again, I'm just waiting for the day where we can have a Jordan versus Dominique Wilkins type of event. And here we go, Con Kneppel in the corner starting it off. Come on, Con. And not really a pure, three-point shooter. He's a guy that can hit threes, but let's see if he can start getting on fire. Corner hit 2 out of 5. There we go. In and out, no good on the wing. He's at 7 right now. And again, you're going to want to probably be in that 20 to 30 range if you can get there. There we go. Top of the key. Get into a rhythm. Kneppel's at 9, 10. There we go. Hit the money ball. Now he's at 12. There we go. Oh, he's getting into a rhythm now. He's at the wing. 16, 17. Uh-oh, 18. He's on fire. Oh, baby, let's go. 2 ball. Now he's in the corner. He's at 21 already. Here we go. Come on, Con. Come on, Con. There we go, 23. Oh, baby. And the money rack. He actually did pretty good there. In it with a 27. That's pretty good start for Kneppel. And again, there's going to be probably individuals that are going to be over, 30. But again, you're typically getting in the first round wanting to be in that 20 to 30 range. But if you can get, 30 to 35, obviously then you're going to advance. But not bad to be the first participant and hit a 27. There definitely are going to be people that, get less than that, but there will be a few that end up beating that number, I assume. There we go. Nice job by Kneppel getting us started. Started to get hot there towards the end. But again, when you have to start first, it's not ideal. .27 at first round score for Kneppel. First rack started a little slow, but again, started to really heat up. And again, that typically is how it goes for a lot of these three-point shooters. Next up is Donovan Mitchell. 185 three-point field goals, leads the NBA in 2025, 2026. He's in the corner. There we go. Starting it off with a make. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Oh, perfect rack. He's already at 6. Unbelievable. Donovan Mitchell. Oh, my God. He hasn't missed. Oh, first miss there. He's at 8. He's at 9. Money ball. Bang. He's got 11. Keep going. Donovan Mitchell. Ooh. Logo is missed. Now he's at the top of the key. See if he can get back into a rhythm. He's at 12. He's at 13. Oh, money ball. Bang. It's good. 15 from the logo. Oh, in and out. No good. Come on, Donovan. He's at 15. He's missed 3 in a row. There we go. 16. Money ball. There we go. He's at 18. 19. Corner. 20. 21. 22. Oh, in and out. And he makes the money ball, but does not beat Kneppel. 24 for Donovan Mitchell. Wow. I mean, it was on fire on that first rack, but had a little bit of trouble after that. This is on NBC as well as Peacock if you want to be able to watch along. And that Kneppel 27 first round score might end up being one of the better numbers. A lot of pressure for a lot of these guys. All right, next up is going to be Jamal Murray. 42.5 three-point field goal percentage in 2025-2026. Here we go. Murray, 2 for 3 on the first rack, 2 for 4. Money ball. In and out, no good. He's only at a 2. Murray's got to really pick up the pace here. He's on the wing rack. Here we go. He's at 5. Money ball. And it rattles in. He's at 7. From the logo. Misses that badly. Now he's at the top of the key. You got to be able to get going here. He's only at 7. 8. Money ball. All right, it's 9. And last money ball. Man, he did terrible at that money ball at the top of the rack. He's not going to advance. And then from the logo, he's only at 9. Uh-oh. Brick City. Come on, Jamal Murray. There we go. Starting to heat up, but he's not going to advance. Money ball. There we go. He's at 14. You got to be really good here. There we go. 15. And last money ball. And they gave it to him, and he only gets to 18. That will not be enough for him to advance. We've had 3 participants so far with Con Kneppel, Donovan Mitchell, and Jamal Murray. Can't wait to be able to see what Lillard does. Would love to be able to see Lillard and Kneppel in the final. Obviously, a little foreshadowing as you see with the background here, but hopefully that'll be what we get. All right, here, next up is Norman Powell. Last rack with the money ball for Norman Powell. Let's see what he can do. Corner rack. Misses the first. Kind of has a weird shooting form. Uh-oh. 0 for 4, money ball. And he finally makes at least 1. He's at 2. He's got a weird release at the, but again, whatever works for you. Here we go. Starting to heat up on the wing. Here we go. Money ball. Oh, he's at 6 now. He hit 4 out of 5 there. From the logo, misses badly. Now he's at the top of the key. He's at 7, 8, 9, starting to heat up. There we go, money ball. He's at 11. He's got to pick up the pace from the logo. He's got to make it. There it is. That's worth 3. Now he's at 14. Come on, Powell. Here we go, heating up. Heating up from the wing. There we go. He's at 17, money ball. In and out, no good. You got to go here. Hurry up, Powell. Running out of time. There we go, money rack, 19, 21, 23, and runs out of time. And Norman Powell with 23. If he would have moved a little bit quicker, he might have been able to get closer to that Con Kneppel, 27, or even Donovan Mitchell with that 24. We've only seen one individual, make the from deep ball. And again, that definitely helped out Norman Powell getting that extra point, getting the 3 from the logo rather than the standard 2 with the money ball or the standard basketball worth only 1. First round score of 23. That may or may not be enough to advance. I don't think it will be, but we'll see. All right, they're going to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back into the 3-point contest here momentarily. NBA All-Star 2026 Los Angeles, Saturday night. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it. Bang, bang. Great job there by Con Kneppel starting it off with the 27. And again, Donovan Mitchell getting a 24. And again, we will see, as the rest of the participants go. I assume that we will get at least one individual getting into 30. But again, I'm not for sure if that's going to be Damian Lillard. But again, he's already won the event twice, hasn't played this year. And, hopefully he'll bring the competitive juices and get into a good flow. We're just waiting for the commercial break to end, and we'll be back into the next participants here in the 3-point contest. Then we have the skills competition, and then we wrap it up with the dunk contest. And then tomorrow, we got the Daytona 500, as well as the NBA All-Star Game, where they're doing a round robin, obviously world and team stars, and then they're going to go and do that tournament style until we end up having a winner. The world team is quite a bit better than, the USA teams, but again, hopefully they'll go back to Eastern Conference, Western Conference one day. But again, this is the format that we have to deal with in 2026. Just waiting for the commercial break to end, and we'll get to our next participants. Kneppel started first with a 27, was very, very strong. And, there's a good chance that he could end up winning it. He's one of the best rookies with VJ Edgecombe there from the Sixers, as well as Cooper Flagg. And definitely excited to be able to see the progression of those three guys. Too bad Cooper ended up getting injured. Would have been amazing to see him yesterday in that game. But, hopefully he'll be able to be good to go for Dallas after the All-Star break. Hopefully we won't have too many commercials here. They definitely could have given us more of a heads up. The event was supposed to start at 2, 5 o'clock Eastern, but then they ended up having coverage of the Olympics with the USA men's hockey team. So we didn't even really get going here until a couple minutes ago. But again, so far so good. I thought yesterday's event was pretty good as well. I didn't know what kind of defense that we were going to be able to see, but Donovan Klingen and Reed Shepherd did really good for Mello. Almost lost to the G League squad of Austin Rivers. And then obviously we saw Team Vince and Team McGrady go at it, cousins, and Vince ended up advancing. And, obviously at the very end, we already know what happens there, with Team Vince and Edgecombe going off and winning by 1. So. But I was really impressed with the teamwork and the defense. It wasn't just a bunch of alley-oops and non-defensive play like we typically get in the All-Star game. But, they did a pretty good job for yesterday's event, the kind of rookie-sophomore, even though they have it formatted differently, trying to bring back Mello and Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Austin Rivers as, guest coaches. And we will see what we get here with the remaining participants in the three-point contest. Opening day, just about a month away, month and a half. Can't wait for baseball to be back in business. So we have Kneppel with 27, Mitchell with 24, Powell with 23, Murray with 18. He'll be eliminated. And then we have Portis Jr., we got Maxey, Booker, and last but not least, my guy, Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard. And I have to assume if there's anybody that's going to get close to Kneppel, it'll be Booker and Lillard. All right, here we go. Next up is Bobby Portis Jr. All right, here we go. Bobby from the corner starting it off. Misses the first. Got to get into a good rhythm here. Finally makes one. Here we go. Money ball. He's at 4. Not bad. Got to get into a rhythm, Bobby. There we go. He's at the wing, starting to heat up. Here we go. Money ball. In and out, no good. Out of 7. 3 balls in each rack. From the logo, misses that badly. And we've only had one participant make that so far. Top of the key. You got to get going here, Bobby. Otherwise, you're going to be like Jamal Murray. He's only at 9. From the logo, we're 3. Misses badly. Now he's from the wing. Oh, he's going to have a terrible night. 10. You got to heat up. The Brick City here for Portis. Money ball. In and out, no good. Uh-oh. He's not even going to get to 18, I don't think. In the corner, but he's got money balls here. He's at 11. Brick City, Brick City, Brick City. Finally makes a money ball, 13, and makes the last. Finishes with only 15. So at least Jamal Murray can breathe a little bit easy that he wasn't the worst in this event so far. A little bit of a disappointing outing there for Bobby Portis Jr. We got 3 more participants left here in the first round. Top 3 are going to advance. Kneppel is advancing. And I just got to be able to see what, after Maxey is done, Devin Booker and Damian Lillard have a very good chance to get to that 24 to, 30 range. But let's see what Tyrese Maxey can do. There we go. Get going, Maxey. Money ball in the corner, in and out, no good. Only hitting 2 balls out of 5 in that first rack. Now on the wing. Here it's starting to heat up. 3 in a row. Oh, in and out. Money ball, in and out. He's only at 5 now. From the logo, missing badly, and most players are. Top of the key. Come on, Maxi. He's only at 6 right now. Money ball. Top of the key finally drops, now at 8. From the logo. In and out, no good. Nobody's hitting that number. I know Booker and Dame will. Maxi from the wing. He's at 10. He's at 11. Money ball. In and out, no good. He's running out of time. Now he's got all money balls here in the corner. 13. 15. 5 seconds left. In and out. Last ball. And finishes with a 17. Shows you how good Kneppel did, starting first and get 27. Mitchell with 24. Powell with 23. And obviously, Maxi will not advance. And there's a good chance that Lillard and Booker, could be there with Kneppel and Mitchell. But again, only 3 advance. And we'll see how good Lillard and Devin Booker do. But Kneppel will definitely be in the finals. Donovan Mitchell with a 24. You assume that he will as well. But again, there is a chance that Booker and Dame could get over 24. So we have to wait and see. Yeah, Portis went and did terrible. Jamal Murray did terrible. Portis did terrible. Maxey did terrible. But those guys aren't really great three-point shooters for this type of event, in my opinion, compared to some of the rest. Donovan Mitchell and Kneppel killed it. And we'll see now with the final 2, Booker and Lillard. Let's go. D-Book in the corner, starting it off. Kneppel with 27, Mitchell 24, Norman Powell surprising with 23. All right, here we go. D-Book heating up. 4 in a row. Money ball. 4 out of 5. Great start for D-Book. Now on the wing. D-Book on fire, starting to heat up. He's at 5, now 6. Keep it going, baby. D-Book money ball. Ooh, he's on fire. He's already at 10. From the logo. And we've only had one player make it from the logo here. D-Book at the top of the key now. He's at 12. In and out. Money ball, top of the key is good. 14 from the logo. Oh, he made it. 17. Huge. Here we go. He's heating up. D-Book will advance. He's at 19. Keep it going. Plenty of time, too. He might hit 30. Bang. Money ball is good. He's at 22. All money balls in the corner. Uh-oh. 24. 26. 28. Last ball. 30. He did it. And I figured D-Book would be one of these guys because it's on NBC. NBC or Peacock. That's how you watch. It wouldn't be on League Pass. Anything that's All-Star festivities is going to be linked to the network. Great job there by D-Book getting the 30. I figured we'd get at least one person. So Norman Powell with that 23 may not be good enough. Kneppel with 27, now in second place. D-Book at 30. And we will see if Damian Lillard can end up getting into that 25 range to beat Donovan Mitchell for third place. And no really big surprises, for guys like Portis and Maxey, and Jamal Murray. I don't think anyone expected them to advance. Here's my guy, Damian Lillard. Let's go, Dame Dalla. 2-time champion in 2023, 2024, and the only participant that hasn't even played a game. Ooh, started off with a nice make. Come on, Dame. Let's go, Lillard. He's looking good here on the first rack. Money ball. In and out, no good. He's already at 3. Come on, Dame. Beautiful form by Damian Lillard. He's not going to get to 30, but come on, Dame. Dame is looking very good for not playing a game all season. Hits the money ball. Now from the logo. In and out, no good. Come on, Dame. At 9, top of the key. Come on, Dame, heat up. He's at 10. 11, money ball. You got to make this. There it is. 13. Come on, baby. From the logo, Dame Dalla. In and out, no good. 2 racks to go. You got to hurry up. There we go. 14. 15. 16. He's on fire. 17, money ball. Hit it. There we go. 19. Come on, Dame. Last rack, all money balls. Come on, Dame. 21, 23, 25. Yes. 27. Oh, yes. There we go. Booker, Kneppel, and Damian Lillard will advance. Let's go. Booker with 30, Kneppel with 27, and Lillard with 27. Let's go. And the two individuals that I was rooting for in Kneppel and Damian Lillard advance with Devin Booker. Let's go. Great performance for Lillard considering he hasn't played a game all season. Wow. Great job, Dame Dalla. Very impressive. Great performance by Damian Lillard. Let's go. All right, so Booker in the final round here with 30. Kneppel and Lillard with 27. Kneppel started off first, and these are the three guys that should be in the final, based on their shooting skill set. And great to be able to have a rookie, kind of make a name for himself. Dame Dalla has won this event already twice, and we know Booker is one of the best three-point shooters in the game. We cue to another commercial break, and we'll be getting ready for the final between Kneppel, Lillard, and Devin Booker. Let's go. NBA All-Star Saturday night in Los Angeles. Three-point contest has been exciting so far. And in the final, we got Kneppel, Damian Lillard here just on the thumb, as well as Devin Booker. Let's go.
Reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Eblis. Before starting Eblis, take a
D-Book with 30. Kneppel with 27, as well as Damian Lillard. Let's see if I can get a good Kneppel photo up here. And we're just waiting for the commercial break to end here. Lillard advancing to the finals, even though he hasn't played a game all year. All right, so we got Concanepple, 27, Lillard with 27, D-Book with 30. Everybody loving Lillard stepping up, even though he's been hurt all year, to participate in the event, and definitely showing out. So we got D-Book, Concanepple, and Damian Lillard, and I was really rooting for Caneppel and Lillard to do well in the event, and they both did. And again, Booker is definitely going to be one of the favorites as well. Hit him with a 30, and now Concanepple will be first to start here in the final round. Final round is about to start in about a second. First round score of 27. Let's go, Con. You got to heat up. 2 for 3 on that first rack. 3 for 4. Money ball is good. 4 for 5. Let's go. 5 points for Caneppel already. Shooters be shooting. Keep going, Con. And obviously we know VJ Edgecombe, Concanepple, and Cooper Flagg have been amazing for the NBA this season. From the logo, no good. Caneppel at 7. You got to heat up. Now he's at the top of the key. Keep it going, Caneppel. Moneyball at the top of the key. In and out, no good. This doesn't look like as good of a performance as the first round. Maybe a little tired. He's at 10. Yeah, Caneppel's not going to win this. Moneyball is good. He's at 13. Last rack, all money balls. He's got to hit them all. Misses the first. Makes the second at 15. Last ball. And 17. He will not advance and win this. Obviously, it's the final, so that ain't going to be good enough. We know Lillard and D-Book at the very worst would probably get, in the 20s. Low 20s at the very worst, so. But at least he started off strong with a 27. And again, great to see Caneppel out there. And now we got former champions Damian Lillard and Devin Booker going at it. I think we'll have Book go next, and then we'll see if Lillard can end up winning this. All right, Lillard up next. Why isn't it Booker? Lillard should be last. All right, let's go, Dame. 25 and above for both. Let's go. Lillard right out of the gates. Makes the first 3. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, 4 out of 5. Misses the money ball. Come on, Dame. Now he's at the wing. At 5. 6. 7. Money ball. He's at 9. Here we go. Let's go, Dame. From the logo. It's good. That's 12, baby. Let's go. Let's go. 13. 14. 15. He's on fire. 16. Money ball. Woo! 18. Let's go, Dame. He can win it from the logo. Oh, in and out. No good. He's at 18 already with 20 to go. 19. 20. Come on, Dame. 21. Money ball. 23. He can hit 30. Let's go, Lillard. He's at 23. 25. 20. Oh, in and out. Come on. 20. Oh. 27. And last ball. 29. Let's go. Lillard could win with a 29. Let's go. Uh-oh. So Caneppel was 17. Knepel with 29. Knepel with 17. Lillard with 29, looking very strong. And again, it'll be up to Devin Booker. Let's see if Book can get 30. And if he's able to match his first round, he'll be the three-point contest winner. Chris Tucker loving it. Nice job, Rip City. Way to represent with Yang Hansen and Donovan Clingan yesterday. And Damian Lillard, obviously not even playing a game all year. He still got the flow. And again, it could have ended up hitting 30 plus if he was a little bit better on that last money rack. But to get 29, I guess you can't really complain. All right, let's see if D-Book can get 30 again. If he hits 30 like he did in the first round, he will be champ. All right, here we go. Last participant in the State Farm three-point contest. D-Book in the corner. And here we go. Book starting it off. Hitting the first two. He's at 3. 4. Uh-oh. He's at 6. He goes perfect in the first rack. 7. Uh-oh, he's on fire. He hasn't missed. Oh, my. He's at 8. He's at 9. He's at 10. Money ball. Oh, in and out. He's at 10 from the logo. Oh, in and out. No good. Here we go. Top of the key. Cooled off a little bit. He's at 11. 12. Money ball. 14 from the logo. Oh, he got it. Oh, my. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. Uh-oh, money ball. 23. Uh-oh, Book might win this. He's at 23. 25. 27. Oh, he missed. Oh, he missed again. Oh, and Lillard wins. Booker with 27. Let's go. Lillard, three-time champ. Let's go. Hell yeah. Lillard, three-time champ. And Booker got ice cold in that last rack. And again, he could have won it. Started off incredibly hot. But Damian Lillard, three-time champ. Let's go. Yes, sir. Dame Dalla, baby. Let's go. Hasn't played a game all year and beat everyone that played all season. Wow. Let's go. Craig Hodges, Larry Bird, and now you can add Damian Lillard's name. And again, the way that Book started, it looked like he was going to win this event, but got cold. I think only hitting 2 out of 5 on that money rack at the very end, and that was the killer for Devin Booker. Could have easily won this. But again, Damian Lillard getting the job done. Great job, Dame Dalla. Knipple couldn't believe it. Everyone is like, can't believe that Lillard won this again. And again, it's going to be special when Lillard gets healthy, to play with Scoot and with Denny Advia and everything that we got with Clingan. We're definitely young, but again, exciting to see. Dame time, baby. Hell yeah. That was awesome. Let's go. Great job, Dame. Craig Hodges, Larry Bird, and now Damian Lillard, 3-time champs. Lillard will probably end up being the guy that ends up winning it 4, 5, 6 times if he keeps participating in this event. Great to be able to see Lillard do his thing, and I can't wait until he's ready to go, towards the end of the season. We're not going to be able to go on any kind of deep run, but, wanted Knepel to do well, wanted Booker to do well. I had hopes that Lillard would be able to get into the final and win, but you just kind of, never know what kind of, legs he's got underneath them after the injury, especially since he hasn't played a game all year, but unbelievable. Larry Bird, Craig Hodges, and now Damian Lillard, the third player to win three-point contest 3 times. And again, if Lillard participates in this event a few more times, he will be the all-time champion. Next up is the skills competition. After that will be the dunk contest. They always leave the dunk contest for last. And Booker probably feels a little robbed. He's won this event before, but just got ice cold on that last money rack. And if he was a little bit better, he would have been able to at least tie Dame or win. Dame time, baby. Great to have him back in Portland. Nice job, Dame. Way to do the Pacific Northwest proud. Let's go, baby. Damian Lillard, 3-point champ 3 times in a row. Great start to the show. Hell yeah. All right, Shooting Stars is up next. All right, so Kia Shooting Stars will be next. We got Team All-Star with Scotty Barnes. We got Chet Holmgren, and we got Legend Richard Hamilton, Rip Hamilton from the Pistons. Then we got Team Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Legend Allen Houston. Man, Allen Houston, haven't seen him in a minute. And then we got Team Cameron, where we got Jalen Johnson, Con Kneppel, and then Legend Corey Maggette. Wow. And then Team Harper, we got Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr., and Ron Harper Sr. So looking at, who's available here, it's going to be tough. I don't really know how it will play out, but, you would assume Team Knicks, could be strong. Again, I don't really know what we're going to get out of Team Harper with Ron Harper Sr. kind of getting up there in age and whatnot. We know Kneppel will do his thing. I'm not really sure about Corey Maggette. And then obviously Scotty Barnes, Rip Hamilton, and Chet Holmgren. I think Team All-Star and Team Knicks would probably be the favorites. But again, we have to wait and see how it all plays out. And that'll be next in the Kia Shooting Stars. Great job by Dame Dalla. Great performance by Dame Dalla, baby. And then in the dunk contest will be Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jace Richardson. So, hopefully one day we'll actually have, a better group of individuals, but shout out to Dame Dollar. Three-time winner, baby. Great job by Damian Lillard, bringing a little hype here to the Pacific Northwest. We love him. Great to have you back. And again, there's only been other individuals that have been able to do what Dame has done. Larry Bird and Craig Hodges, both three-time winners. But you would assume if Lillard participates in this event, a few more times, he can win it 4 or 5 times before it's all said and done. And again, I was impressed, with how they had the setup. I mean, I think rookie-sophomore setup is better for yesterday's game, but to be able to see Austin Rivers and the G League compete with Melo, and then obviously with Team Vince and Team McGrady going at each other, and then at the very end, with Edgecombe, doing what he did, but Donovan Clingan doing very well with Melo in that first game, Yang Hansen as well on the G League side. So the Blazers have been representing very well over this NBA All-Star weekend with Hansen, Clingan, and now Lillard. And very excited that he ended up winning that event, even though he hasn't played 1 minute during the NBA this season. Fantastic. Great job by Dame Dalla, Damian Lillard. It's Dame time, baby. Now we're waiting for the next event to get set up here after the commercial break. Dame time, baby. Let's go. And again, I wanted Knepel and Dame to do well. And again, I knew D-Book more than likely would be in the final as well. And great job by those 3 individuals. So next up, again, is going to be the Kia Shooting Stars. And then they're split up into 4 different teams. We got Team All-Star, which should be one of the, the favorites you would assume. Scotty Barnes, Chet Holmgren, and then the legend will be Richard Hamilton. Then we got Team Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and legend Allen Houston. Team 3 will be Team Cameron with Con Knepel, Jalen Johnson, and Corey Maggette as the legend. And then Team Harper, you got Ron Harper Sr., Ron Harper Jr., and then Dylan Harper. So again, I would assume that the Harpers will probably be last, but you never know. Again, we will have to kind of wait and see, and I would assume Team Knicks and Team All-Star would be probably the favorites. But shout out to Con Knepel, for participating yesterday, in that essential rookie-sophomore, format as a rookie. Obviously, Cooper Flagg was injured, so we weren't able to see him, but we got to see VJ Edgecombe and obviously Con Knepel. Knepel obviously participating in the three-point contest, and he's going to be in this skills competition. So again, the only, event that Knepel is not going to be in is the dunk contest, and obviously there would be no reason for him to be in that. And then the last event will end up being the dunk contest between Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jace Richardson. And again, how many individuals that are NBA fans, are familiar with those 4 guys? Not really, but hopefully they'll be able to put on a good show, even though the name recognition really isn't there. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Winner of the first event in the three-point contest, Damian Lillard. Three-point champion in 2026. Let's go. Won the event 3 times, like Craig Hodges and Larry Bird. And we're just waiting for the commercial break, and we'll get into the second event. And it started off definitely with a bang. Dame time, baby, making all of us here in Oregon and in the Pacific Northwest proud. Let's go. All right, next event just right around the corner, baby. All right, Shooting Stars here up next. All right, now they're doing the intros for all of the individuals participating here. All right, Jalen Johnson, Con Kneppel, Corey Maggette. Celebrity passer. They got 2 chains, huh? They're starting to even throw the celebrity people in, huh? I wasn't aware they were going to have celebrity people in there as well, but I guess, it gives them an opportunity to promote, those individuals. 2 chains. Okay. And Anthony Anderson with that first team. Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad. Okay. It's a family affair. E40 in the building. Guy Fieri in the building. Sean McVay in the building. Queen Latifah and Dame there snapping a photo. Dr. J in the building. And the Big O. All right, Kia Shooting Star is going to be up and running here after this next commercial break. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Sarah in the building. How are you? Great start here in the 3-point contest with Dame Dalla. Hasn't played a minute, in the regular season, and now is a 3-time winner with Larry Bird and Craig Hodges. Again, Booker had a chance on that last rack, but only went 2 for 5, I believe. And if he was a little bit better, he would have at least tied or, beaten Dame, and, came out of the gates hot with a 30. Knepel and Dame with 27s in the first round. But, again, anything is possible on any given night. So, yeah, USA Hockey was on, and again, they had it promoted where they were going to start the event around 2, but then they had that USA hockey matchup, since they have the affiliation with the, NBC and whatnot at Peacock. Did USA end up winning? Is it over? Because when they last cut away, there was still like 10 to 14 minutes left in the third period, so. But I hope you end up having a good day and a good weekend. We got the Daytona 500 on tomorrow. They won 6-3. Awesome. USA, baby. We got the Daytona 500 on 1 hour earlier because of rain. So it'll be starting at 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern. So again, and then we obviously have the NBA All-Star festivities starting at 2 tomorrow Pacific, I believe. So again, they might end up overlapping. So I'm going to do the Daytona 500. But again, if I have time and if it ends up finishing, with a respective amount of time left, I'll try to be able to do both with the Daytona 500 and the NBA All-Star game back-to-back. So Kachuk brothers, absolutely. But that was exciting. And then again, with this next event, we got Team All-Star with Scotty Barnes, Chet Holmgren, and legend Richard Hamilton. And obviously we have a celebrity passer with each team as well. Then we have Team Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and legend Allen Houston. Team Cameron, Con Knepel, Jalen Johnson, and legend Corey Maggette. And then Team Harper with Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr., and Ron Harper Sr. And again, we do have a celebrity passer for each one of those. And then obviously the dunk contest will be last with Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jace Richardson. I wish we had at least one guy out of those 4 that, you would know or recognize, but hopefully they put on a show. Oh, really? Nice. I know you're itching for baseball like I am as well. We obviously are going to be getting our first, spring training games in about a week, which is exciting. And then we got the World Baseball Classic in the beginning of March, which will be exciting. I'll do a little bit of coverage and hopefully they won't do me dirty. And then once we get towards the end of March, that'll be the best time of the year where we get the MLB started. And again, I'm really excited about that. All right, we got Team All-Star. Drewski is the celebrity passer. And again, if you have a celebrity that can't pass, that could end up being the end of that particular team. Rip Hamilton here with the layup. All right, they're just going up with layups, and now they just moving around, kind of around the world here. They're at 6. Chet with the jumper. Oh, Jesus Christ, Drewski, who the hell are you throwing to? And they're gonna lose because Drewski's involved. Like, your job is to pass. If you can't even do that, come on, my guy. They're at 10 right now with about 35 seconds to go. Scotty Barnes. But again, celebrity passers, if you get a guy that obviously, can't actually hit these guys, it's going to make a huge difference. And again, they're not doing very good here. They're only at 12 with about 10 seconds to go. Still stuck at 12. And again, you can blame, they got one right there at the buzzer. Is that going to go? And that 4-pointer at the buzzer by Rip Hamilton. And they end with 16. Drewski throwing it one-handed like he's throwing a football. What is he doing? Andrea in the building. How are you? NBA All-Star Saturday night. 3-point contest is usually the best event out of the three. And again, that's one thing. Like, I think that there's no need for a celebrity passer. If anything, it's going to fuck it up for, the individuals that are playing, so obviously Drewski did terrible there. And obviously they weren't really hitting their shots anyways. And we'll see if Team Cameron can do better. They got Anthony Anderson as a passer, and I assume that he'll do better than Drewski. So here we go. Knepel with the layup. Jalen Johnson, celebrity dunk there by Corey Maggette. I mean, they're already at 6. I mean, how do you only end with 12 when you can get 6 when you're an inch from the rim? But again, you got to be able to get into a rhythm here. I miss the old skills competition where they would be going through like the weaving and, going through the passing drill. And, I feel that, the NBA needs to go back to what was working back in the day instead of trying to cater to the young fans. Again, they're just changing it up way too much every single year. They're at 10, so they're going to be able to advance, obviously. There we go. See if they can get hot here in the corner. Knepel. There we go. They're at 17. There we go. They're at 20. They have a good chance to get to the mid-20s here. Knepel. Come on, baby. Can you get at least one here? Come on, Knepel. Yes, there we go. And, they finished with 24. Much better there from Team Cameron. It's always good to be able to have the puppers nearby. I had to go on 2 really long walks because I had to prepare and make the thumb in the background and everything. And again, I was hoping that Knepel and Dame would be with Book at the end. And again, they both did very, very well. And we'll see what we end up getting here with these final 2 teams. So yeah, Drewski, Anthony Anderson with the celebrity passer, and then we have 2 chains, and then the last celebrity passer. We'll see what we get here. Yeah, you got to put in that time and that energy. All right. 2 chains delivering the passes, and we know 2 chains can ball, so might be like one of the individuals that actually will be able to hit his target. Let's see. Come on, Team Harper. You got Ron Harper Jr., Dylan Harper, and Ron Harper Sr. There we go. Let's see if Dad can make it here. And again, some of these guys have, been out of the league for quite some time. Harper at 10. Come on now. To avoid elimination, they have to get to 16 here. They got 25 seconds left. They don't need to really rush here. There we go. They're at 15. There we go. They avoid elimination. 18. And obviously, Ron Harper Sr. can't make a bucket for have his life counted on it. Come on, baby. 18. Come on, Harpers. Oh, God. Ron Harper Sr. airballed that badly. Running out of time. And they finish with 18. At least they avoid elimination. Yeah. Come on, Ron Harper Sr. He couldn't even make the first bucket. The first bucket that was like an inch away from the rim, which could have been much better, but 2 chains is different. All right, Team Knicks. You assume this will be the team that could win it all, right? With Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, and Allen Houston. And Houston obviously hasn't been playing for quite some time. And they got Rick Brunson, Jalen's dad. So this is the team I think that should win the event. There we go. And Rick is taking it serious. He wants his son, and they want to win here. Come on, baby. There we go, Allen Houston. Actually, somebody that's, one of the old school vets that can actually make a fucking shot. There we go. to avoid elimination. They only need to get 18, and they're almost already there. Come on, Allen. Houston for 3. In and out, no good. Come on, Jalen. Here we go. 16. Come on, Jalen. Just need to get 1 bucket here. Come on, Carl. There we go. Allen Houston stepping up. They're at 19. Come on, Houston. And at least one of the old school vets is making some shots. There we go. There we go. 27. They might hit 30. 1. Yes. 31. And, there we go. Team Knicks looking like the best team so far. That's the team to beat. And they actually don't have a celebrity, that's not taking it serious like Drewski. You got Rick Brunson, obviously Jalen Brunson's dad. He's taking it serious. Nice, good chest passes. And that's making the difference. Especially with Allen Houston, being really the only, OG player, legend player that actually is making any buckets. That helps as well. You knew Ron Harper Sr. wasn't going to make any. I didn't really think Maggette was going to make any. And then obviously with Rip Hamilton, you would assume that he would be second, obviously to what we have here with Allen Houston. Dame Dalla, 3-time champion in the 3-point contest, baby. And we'll wait to see if Team Knicks will end up being victorious, which I assume they will be. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Allen Houston, and then Jalen Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson, being the celebrity passer. And again, maybe not the most famous out of the 4 teams, but the one that's actually taking it serious. So off to a commercial break, and we'll be back up in just a minute or two to wrap that up. And then we'll end up getting into the dunk contest. Will be Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keishad Johnson, and Jace Richardson. Finals in the 3-point contest were Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, and Con Kneppel. Came down to Book going last and just not getting hot enough on that last money rack. And Dame Dalla, it's Dame time, winning 3 times in the event with Craig Hodges from the Bulls and Larry Bird. Shout out to Dame. Excited for the Daytona 500 tomorrow. Watched the trucks race last night and ended up with the very last lap with a lot of craziness. And again, with the format, with each team member, with Team Vince and Team McGrady, Team Mello, and Team Rivers, I was actually kind of impressed. I watched both events at the same time, and I was thinking, are we even going to have any defense? Is it going to be fun to watch? And I was actually pleasantly surprised. Donovan Clingan did well, Reed Shepard did well, VJ Edgecombe did well, and again, it actually was worth watching. And again, we got the O'Reilly Xfinity Series today, which I will tap into, and then obviously the Daytona 500, the granddaddy of them all. They'll start coverage at 10:30 a.m., and then we have the NBA All-Star festivities and the round robin tournament, and I believe that'll start at 2 p.m. Pacific. So if I'm able to do both, as long as the Daytona 500 ends before the rain comes, that's kind of the plan. Yeah, you already knew that Larson was going to extend. And shout out to my boy Chase Elliott for winning duel number 2, which was fun to watch. Did a stream, obviously, here on the channel. And then we had Joey Logano winning duel number 1. So you have to assume Logano and Chase Elliott will have a very good chance of winning the Daytona 500. The closest that Chase has been is second. Definitely looking forward to seeing what he'll be able to do tomorrow. And, hopefully I'll be able to get my, Napa hat, delivered to me sooner than later. So they got a black version, of the Napa Racing, and they have a white and blue, so it's going to come down to those two. And, it just sucks that, they're so expensive. It's like you used to be able to get a nice hat, pro back or snapback for about, $20-25, but now, you're looking at about 40 to 50. So you definitely have to be selective on what you want. NBA All-Star 2026 Saturday night here in Los Angeles. And it looks like we're just leaving commercial break. Yeah, I mean, $50 for a hat. I mean, and even if it ends up being 40, 45, unless you get free shipping, you're paying additional money. And again, it's like I can go to Hendrick Motorsports, I can end up going to NASCAR.com, but regardless, not every style of hat, it looks good. So it's like you kind of have to, take the time and cycle through. But, based on the ones that I saw, including shipping, you're going to be paying over $50. And again, for some people that might not be a big thing, but for others, that's kind of a commitment, so you got to make sure that, you get something that you like. So. All right, here's the finale. On Knappel, Anthony Anderson, he's ready. And again, not, just the players, hitting their shots. It's going to be like how smooth are the passes coming in. And I still think Team Knicks is going to be the favorite. But again, if they can get hot here early. Okay, here we go. Knappel, nice dunk. There we go. Team Cameron starting off on a good foot here. At 8, in and out. There we go. Nice to be able to see a legend actually make a bucket. There we go. Wow, he made 2 already. Maggette was ready. In and out, no good. But Maggette's already made a couple buckets. It's up to the others to step up here. Come on, Knappel. They're at 16 with about 30 seconds to go. Come on, Maggette. Come on, Corey. There we go. Maggette is doing very good as far as a legend player. There we go. Maggette again. Wow, he's the MVP in this round. Wow. 26. Oh, another one. Holy shit. Wow. Not again. Oh, Maggette, 3 deep. Wow. Oh, 38. Uh-oh. I don't know if Team Knicks is going to win. Maggette got super hot there. I mean, unless Allen Houston, heats up like Maggette did, they're not going to beat him. Wow. That's super impressive. 38? You kidding me? Yeah, it's a little rainy here. We got a little bit rained on this morning. I went early and then a little bit before, obviously, this event started. But Maggette, making more shots than the other 2 NBA current players. That was impressive. Oh, my. Jalen Johnson and Knappel. They didn't hit enough shots, but Corey Maggette did. Holy moly. Okay, Maggette. And it's very rare where you see like a celebrity or you end up seeing like an old school vet outperform a current NBA player. And now Team Knicks, they're going to need Allen Houston to step up here. Otherwise, they have no shot. Unless, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson just go off here. But we'll see. All right, so far so good. They're at 10. Here we go. 14. Here we go. There we go. They're at 20. Oh, they got a chance to beat them. They're at 22. Uh-oh. 27. Take your time here, Knicks. They're at 27. They need 39 to win. Oh, there's one. 31. Come on, Team Knicks. Come on, Team Knicks. Come on, Allen Houston. They just need to hit one. Oh, there it is. Oh, they won. They got it. Oh, 39. There's the winner. 43. And Houston at the buzzer. Let's go. And the team that I figured that would going to get that dub would be Team Knicks. And again, it was impressive what Corey Maggette did. If Kneppel would have done a little bit more, but again, 47 by Team Knicks. And again, they had the best team and obviously the best celebrity passer with Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad. All right. And Spike Lee, he's loving it. Not as exciting as the 3-point contest, but again, at least a little bit of flair, towards the end. And then we got one more event left in the dunk contest. And again, this one might be a little underwhelming just based off the name recognition, but just because we don't recognize the names doesn't mean that they won't be able to dunk in a specific, type of way. So hopefully with these lower name NBA players that are participating, that they'll be able to still put on a show. A nice job there by, let's see if we get a better one than that. I wanted that to format better. Let's see if we can find another one. All right, Jalen Brunson and Team Knicks get the job done, and now we're at our final event, which will be the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jace Richardson. And hopefully they'll be able to put on a show. Spurs, Lakers, Heat, and the Magic represented in the Slam Dunk Contest. All right, we got one event to go. And then obviously we got the Daytona 500 tomorrow, as well as the NBA All-Star Round Robin Tournament. Looking forward to both of those. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone in the building. Man, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. One more event, and then I got to take a quick peek to see when we get this O'Reilly's Xfinity going. Like the race has already started. Dame Dalla winning the three-point contest for the third time. It's Dame time, baby. Team Knicks and Jalen Brunson getting that event with the skills competition. Now we're ready for the dunk contest. They're having a little intermission with Ludacris performing. And there's not too many individuals in the rap game that have been able to, hit the Hollywood scene besides Cube and Ludacris to really make a name for themselves outside of the rap game. And this will be interesting. Oh, he's got the Dominique Wilkins throwback on. Okay. That Dominique jersey is one of the nicest, old school throwbacks back in the day, back when they had Dominique and Jordan. I mean, that's when the dunk contest, when I was a kid, when that was the real thing. And then we've seen a few, after that with Levine and, and a few others, give us Aaron Gordon, those type of vibes. But, it definitely got to a point where, a lot of the players, even mid-level players, have, declined the event. And hopefully we'll get back to even at least having guys like Gordon and Levine's type of skill set and name recognition. Because, even though they might not be the top guys, in the league, they can still dunk and, keep, us on our toes. And as of late, doing the whole Mac McClung thing. And, obviously that was exciting, but it could have been much better if you then, ended up having some of these other high profile athletes participating, like seeing LeBron or Giannis or something of that nature. So. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We got this little intermission here with Ludacris, and once this is over, we'll get into the dunk contest, and then we will be all wrapped up. Fire throwback. And a lot of those 80s and 90s jerseys look a hell of a lot better than the jerseys that they have now. But if you're just tuning in to the NBA All-Star Saturday night, Damian Lillard hasn't played a minute this season and ended up winning the three-point contest. over Devin Booker, which was amazing. Now he's a 3-time winner with Craig Hodges from the Bulls, sharpshooter, and Larry Bird, the legends from the Celtics. And then obviously we saw Team Knicks, with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Allen Houston, and celebrity Rick Brunson, his dad, end up being champs in that second event with the Shooting Stars. And after this ludicrous performance, we'll be into the dunk contest. And it's going to be Carter Bryant, Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jace Richardson. And again, I think even if you're a hardcore fan, most, fans don't even know who those guys are. You might have been able to hear, maybe one of those 4 guys or maybe 2. But again, we need to be able to have better participants, participate in the event. Imagine if you ended up having like LeBron and Giannis and Wemby and, someone of that nature. I mean, it would be must-see TV. And again, I don't know if we'll ever, have the most athletic dunkers, participate in the event again, but I sure as hell hope so. I think Wemby will have a chance, but I think the hard thing to really predict is minutes. We don't really know how many minutes each All-Star player is going to get. So again, we know that Wemby has All-Star ability, but we don't really know how many minutes, Wemby is going to get. So again, and we know there's not going to be a whole lot of defense. There's going to be a lot of alley-oops, a lot of, kind of Harlem Globetrotter, kind of a freestyle type of event. And again, that's okay for some. I would like to be able to see them play defense all 4 quarters and end up having it be a lower scoring game like 115, 113 and still get those dunks and alley-oops, but just not every fucking play. But again, I assume the score will be close to fucking 200 tomorrow. And again, hopefully we end up seeing a good chunk of certain players get a chance to play like Wembanyama tomorrow. Yeah, and considering there's not going to be any defense, you assume that he'll be able to get quite a few touches in the game, and we'll probably see something that we've never seen before, because that's one thing in the NBA. You got SGA, you got Luka, you got Wemby, you got a lot of these amazing players that are at the top of their game. But again, Wembanyama might be the only one that you can say that you might see something that you've never seen before, just based off his size and his length. And, we know that he can stretch and dunk from very far away. But again, he can dribble like a guard. He can shoot threes like a guard. And again, he got an inside and outside game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll do tomorrow. And I did not know. I did know that Ludacris was performing, but I thought he was going to be performing before the show started, not, right before the dunk contest. But I guess they have to build up the dunk contest since they don't really have anyone that's a recognizable name participating. All right, Ludacris performance is over. They cue to the commercial break, and then we should get into the intros of the individuals participating here shortly. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And if you're just tuning in, Devin Booker ended up going against Damian Lillard in the three-point shootout finals. Lillard should have went last since he went last in the first round, but for whatever reason, he went second to last and ended up getting pretty hot. Booker had a chance to win, but ended up going 2 for 5 on that last money ball rack, and Damian Lillard ended up winning. It's Dame time, baby, and he is a 3-time champ with Craig Hodges and Larry Bird. And I imagine if he participates in the event, he will be the all-time leader in the three-point contest winner, because he can end up winning it a few more times if he participates. And then obviously in the skills competition, Team Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Allen Houston as the legend, and then celebrity Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson's dad, as the celebrity passer, ended up winning the second event. That wasn't really, to me, and I know some people have kind of bitched and moaned about the skills competition, where they would end up throwing it into the basket off the bounce pass and kind of going through the weaving. And I feel like the NBA was in much better hands when we ended up having the old commish. I feel with Adam Silver, he doesn't understand what they need to do. They need to go back to the rookie-sophomore game yesterday. They need to go to a normal format, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, tomorrow. And then obviously you need to go back to the skills competition. I still, ended up, enjoying what I was seeing, that we had obviously with Team Knicks and the Shooting Stars. But I think the skills competition blows that out of the water. They need to bring that back. And again, I don't like the celebrity passer as well. Like they had Drewski in there as one of the celebrity passers. You knew that just having him in the event that team was going to lose. They didn't really have a strong team to begin with. But again, if you're going to have someone that's not going to take it serious and that can't even pass a fucking ball, accurately, they're going to have no shot. And they obviously were the, one of the worst teams in that competition. But hopefully this dunk contest, will be somewhat worthy. We've seen Mac McClung, even though he's been more of a G League guy, he's been in the NBA and then out of the NBA in the G League, and he's been able to, win that dunk contest and obviously not participating this year. And I'm just waiting for the time where we can get back to, Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, and having some of the best players in the world compete for this honor. And again, it used to be an honor to win this award, to be a dunk champion. But in the last 10 years or so, it feels like nobody cares anymore. And that's a damn shame. If the players don't care, how are the fans supposed to care? And again, if you're looking at the names and the participants, even if you're a hardcore NBA fan, you might only recognize one name. You got Carter Bryant from the Spurs, you got Jackson Hayes, Keyshawn Johnson from the Heat, and then Jace Richardson. And I would assume a majority of fans don't even know who the hell these four guys are. And maybe the only one that you might have heard of is Jackson Hayes. And other than that, I don't know if anyone else has really heard of these guys. So again, the NBA isn't really doing themselves any favors. And again, it's all about money, and it's all about being able to, bring in certain individuals into the sport that maybe don't really belong, to try to get more ratings. But, if they were smart, they would go back to what was working when Stern was, the commish, and just going back to what was working. No, we're still waiting for the dunk contest to get going here. We're going to be starting in about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Drewski throwing it into the crowd as we were just talking about him. And again, dunk contest is going to end up, they're going to have to do the intros of the players first. That's how they have to build this up, So, I mean, hell, they had to give Ludacris a concert before this dunk contest, because obviously if you had four guys that were, top 10 players in the NBA, you wouldn't even need Luda to perform before, But again, Carter Bryant, Jace Richardson, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jackson Hayes. Nobody knows who the fuck these guys are. Hopefully, they'll be able to put on somewhat of a show. I mean, well, since all of the guys are kind of no-name, players, I mean, it's anybody's guess. You got Carter Bryant from the Spurs, Jackson Hayes, with the Lakers, Keyshawn Johnson on the Heat, Jace Richardson on the Magic. I mean, just looking at the graphic, I guess if I had to, just based off looks of the players, I would assume Jace Richardson looks like he might be the, one of the more athletic guys out of the four. But again, you just don't really know, because again, not a lot of people are familiar with these four guys. And then again, we don't really know what kind of dunks they're going to try to attempt, and whatnot with the difficulty level. So. But I don't know. Jace Richardson and if I'm just looking at the promo photo that they got, I mean, it really just depends on the dunks that are attempted. But yeah, again, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, but even if you're a hardcore, I'm talking a guy that watches, your team play and other teams play every night. Even if you're a hardcore NBA fan, you may not know those four players. And really, the only player that, I think that has, maybe been in a headline here and there might have been Jackson Hayes, from the Lakers, just, seeing LeBron and, everyone else. But I don't really think that many people have heard of the other three. But again, Maybe Jace Richardson will win this event, but again, it all depends on the type of dunks that they, go through and the difficulty level, and if they're going to have props involved or if they're going to have someone as a teammate involved. But again, it's not like when I was a kid growing up in the 80s and obviously in my childhood in the 90s, where we actually had some of the best players on planet Earth participate. Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Clyde Drexler. And then, even later on, we at least had like Levine and Aaron Gordon. But again, it seems like since that Levine, Aaron Gordon dunk contest, it's been very hit or miss. And not to say that Mac McClung hasn't put on a show, obviously winning the event multiple times, but, it would be nice to be able to have, some of the best players in the world participate. Like, could you imagine if we had like Giannis and LeBron and like Wemby? I mean, it would be something where, wow, you would definitely tune in and you wouldn't really know who would win, and it would definitely bring some more excitement back, to the dunk contest. But it just seems like the, NBA superstars, they would rather just kind of relax and take in the atmosphere in LA and then, worry about tomorrow rather than participate in the dunk contest here the day before. But, Vince Carter was amazing. Kobe was amazing. Dwight Howard was amazing. There's obviously D Brown back in the day, Spud Webb, and again, there hasn't been too many dunk contests like with Vince Carter. Jason Richardson always put on a show. There's Jordan. This is when it actually fucking mattered and it was exciting. Like what happened? And I'll tell you what happened is Adam Silver fucking happened, but it's been a minute, before we've had a really good duel like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. That was, must-see TV, and I don't know if we are ever going to get to that point again, but I hope so. They need to do the 3-point contest. They haven't fucked that up, but they need to go back to the skills competition and have like the best point guards and shooting guards available. They don't need to have a celebrity fucking passer. Let them just do the events like in the skills competition in the past. And give me 4 of the best athletes, in the NBA going at each other, and again, or you can have someone like Wemby where he's got the length where it would be something crazy because you just don't know what he would do. And again, anytime Wemby plays, you never know, you might see something you've never seen before, but it would be great to be able to have like, Giannis, LeBron, Wemby, some guys of that type of athletic ability, participate in this event. Anthony Edwards, imagine if it was LeBron and Anthony Edwards and Wemby and Giannis, like how incredible that would be. But again, a lot of these guys are just not willing to participate, which is a damn shame. But hopefully one day they will. Camera pans in on Dr. J there. And if you're just tuning in to the broadcast, Damian Lillard ended up winning the 3-point contest for the 3rd time. And he is the 3rd player to do it 3 times with Larry Bird and Craig Hodges. It's Dame time, baby. And then obviously with Dame winning the 3-point contest, we had Team Knicks and Jalen Brunson, as well as Karl Anthony Towns, Allen Houston as the legend, and then Rick Brunson as the celebrity passer end up winning that 2nd event. So shout out to Damian Lillard for getting it done for us here in the Pacific Northwest. We love you. And Team Knicks with Jalen Brunson. All right, 4 dunkers compete in a 2-round contest. 2 scored dunks in each round. 5 judges score each dunk 40 to 50 points. The 5th judge, MBID member rep, provides the MBID fan score, and each dunker gets 90 seconds for 3 attempts. And this will be the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. Yeah, and Booker's won the event before, and if he didn't get cold on that last, money rack, he would have won, or at least tied Dame to make it go to an overtime. But when you only go 2 for 5 in that last rack, he was very hot in the first 2, and it looked like he was going to beat Dame, but he did hit 30 in that first round, and then obviously Kneppel and Dame hit 27. But it's all about finishing strong, and unfortunately, D Book, ended up choking on that last rack. So. But Book should have won, based on how he started. And, it's not like he was really rushed in that last rack. He had time, but, just wasn't able to get into a good rhythm in those last, 4 or 5 basketballs that were worth, the money rack numbers. So, but for Dame to be able to win, as the only player participating that hasn't even played a minute this year, with the Achilles. It's exciting. We know that, we're kind of a bubble team for the playoffs. We just got Scoot Henderson back, but again, a couple games below 500, and we didn't have a point guard for like 2 months. Drew Holiday was injured, but we might be able to make a little bit of noise. I don't expect us to make a deep run. We're not the Thunder, we're not the Spurs, we're not like those teams, at the top, but it would be cool to be a top 8 seed and to be able to, to get in. But we'll kind of have to wait and see based on the health of the rest of the Blazer roster. And at least we got Denny Advia, as a first-time All-Star, but great to be able to see Lillard, win the 3-point contest, considering he hasn't even played a minute this year. And it was awesome that the NBA reached out to get him to play, and he was healthy enough with his recovery, even though he's not, doing full court, just going around the racks and, shooting. But he looked very smooth out there, like, he hasn't missed a beat. And us here in the Pacific Northwest and in Oregon and Washington specifically, we're counting down the days and the minutes for him to be back on the Blazer roster later in the year. We're off to a commercial break, and we're going to be into this dunk contest here in a minute. So it'll be Carter Bryant from the Spurs. Who the hell is that? Nobody knows. Jackson Hayes from the Lakers. Kind of a little bit more of a notable name. I think some people have heard of him. Keyshawn Johnson from the Heat. No one knows who the fuck that is. And then Jace Richardson from the Magic. And I don't think anyone really knows who the hell that is either. So, again, just, looking at the players, just on the graphic on the promo, give me Jace Richardson, and Jackson Hayes to go against each other in the final. Not to say that Carter Bryant and Keyshawn Johnson can't, but, just looking at the graphic itself, those guys look like they might be able to do it, but it's anybody's guess. Oh, it's all good. I grind everything. I do basketball, baseball, football, hockey, NASCAR, WWE, AEW. So, if there's an event on, I'm going to grind it out. So, and again, we got the Daytona 500 tomorrow and the NBA All-Star Game round robin. So, I'm going to try to do both if I have time. And I'm actually looking forward to both. I just hope that the NBA All-Star Game has some kind of defense. But typically when you watch the All-Star Game, it's no defense for 3.5 quarters. And then in the last, 5-6 minutes, they start to turn it up. But, we'll see if that happens tomorrow. But I definitely wanted to see Kneppel, Dame, and Book in the final, and that's what we ended up getting. And specifically, Kneppel, showing out, participating yesterday and going in 2 events today. Pretty sweet. And again, Book, we know that he can hit those threes. Same thing with Kneppel. But Damian Lillard proving it's Dame time, and we're very proud of him here in the Pacific Northwest. Team Knicks and Jalen Brunson winning event number 2 in the skills competition. And again, we will see who ends up winning this dunk contest. And hopefully I see something that gets me out of my seat. But, again, when you got 4, no-name players that are bench guys for the most part, or, somewhat, starters here and there, you don't really know what to expect. So. Yeah. Well, again, if you ended up having the old commish, back, things would be better. Again, they're trying to cater to a younger audience, and, it's like they don't know what they're doing, but even though it may not be like it was in the past, I'm still going to tune in, to either, enjoy what I'm seeing or to criticize, what I'm seeing on the court. But it definitely isn't what it used to be. I would agree with that. Yeah, and also we got a lot of players that were injured, remember? So again, this is probably one of the first years where we had more superstars that missed time in the first half of the season than ever before. SGA and Luka, and just going up and down the list of all, Giannis, a lot of, top tier guys, and even guys that are rookies and up and coming like Cooper Flagg. It's just unfortunate, that we have so many injuries, and then you get a lot of guys that are lazy that just don't want to play, and it's just hurting the game. And it's not like NBA ratings are the greatest to begin with, and then having guys hurt or opting out to play. You can't even buy tickets 2 or 3 days in advance. You have to buy tickets on the day of the game. Otherwise you might be overpaying, for a game where you might not even see your favorite player play. So kind of unfortunate, but that's where we're at right now. But I am looking forward to Wemby tomorrow. He is obviously something that we've never seen before with his size and, strength and ability. And now we're going with the slam dunk competitors here. First off is Carter Bryant. All right, for the 4 no-name players in this dunk event, hopefully we see something exciting. Here we go. Carter Bryant, first dunk. A poor man's Vince Carter type of dunk there. Doesn't really have the same type of flair, but at least he made the first dunk. And that's why you need, superstars to give you kind of that aura and that swagger and that vibe instead of just having 4 players that no one's ever heard of. It's hard to get up, for a dunk contest with 4 guys that no one even knows who the hell they are. I mean, at least he made his first dunk, but it's not like I haven't seen that before. I was going to say about 44, 45 out of 50. Got 43, 45, 48, 47, 45. There's no way in hell that was a 48. And then 45.6 is the average there. All right, Jace Richardson is next. And all right, let's see what Jace can do here. Second participant. All right, come on, Jace. Yeah, I didn't think that first dunk was that impressive to me, like a 43 to 45. I mean, and then again, these guys are doing dunks that we've all, kind of seen before. Nothing too special about that one either. I mean, obviously he's a shorter player, so it's obviously harder to get up and whatnot, but again, first 2 dunks, nothing to get excited about. Might be the worst 2 dunks to start off a dunk contest ever. But again, you have 4 unrecognizable names in this contest. Like, what do you expect? There's no build-up, there's no aura, there's no vibe. No one to get really excited before they dunk. It's just like, who the hell are these guys? And again, 44, 44, 48, 46, 45. Middle judge is on crack right now. Was that Dwight Howard? Jesus Christ. Dwight Howard doesn't know how to rate a goddamn dunk. There's no way that those dunks are fucking 48. I mean, it's 50 is a perfect, right? I don't know what's worse, the dunks or the judges. Jesus Christ. But again, if you had like LeBron and Giannis and Wemby and Anthony Edwards, it would definitely be something really special and it would get people to watch, because again, you wouldn't know who would win, and that they all have athletic ability and, you would probably see something you've never seen before. But, when you end up having 4 no-name bench players for the most part that no one's ever heard of, I mean, how do you expect them to get up for this? Not only the player themselves, but the fans. All right, Keyshawn Johnson up next. But those were probably the first 2 like ho-hum, plain, boring dunks I've seen. So, and now we got Elisa Keyshawn Johnson coming out with E40. So now we have a little bit of flair. Maybe he'll be the favorite now. Okay. And now at least we have something. Let's go, baby. Love me some E40. And maybe this will be your dunk winner here. He looks like he's got some bounce in his step, and he's athletic, and he's tall. So maybe this will be the winner as long as he doesn't fuck up his dunk and make it too difficult. This might be the winner here. So Keyshawn Johnson is next, and last will be Jackson Hayes from the Lakers. So this guy might be the winner of this dunk contest because the first 2 dunks were, very plain and simple. Nothing crazy about it. At least E40 comes out. You get the crowd going a little bit. It obviously is in LA. Here we go. Oh, and he misses his first dunk. But 2 more attempts here. And here we go. You got to time it here, Johnson. He got over E40. It wasn't really the cleanest. Had a nice little Dougie there at the end and whatnot. And a little bit of the dunk contest is the flair with the dancing and the dramatics and whatnot. And again, that wasn't really too crazy, but it was the best one, I think, so far out of the 3. As you watch the replay, it looks better on the second time around rather than the first time. The camera angle wasn't very good the first time, but that ball hits his knee. He gets the extension back there. So, yeah, that one is a legit dunk. That one might be a 48 to a 50. That actually is the first legit dunk we've seen so far. But again, initially watching it live, didn't look that great, but watching the replay, it looked slightly better. The ball hit the knee, hand behind the head, somewhere in that, 48, 49 range, I would assume. I imagine there'll be a 50 in there. No 50s. 47, 47, 49, 48, and 46. So that was the best so far. And now we have Jackson Hayes, last but not least. I was actually surprised that there wasn't higher scores. I figured there would be, someone that would overrate it, to a 49 or a 50. And, I figured it would be more, 47, 48s for most of them. But you can always tell, when you have some bias and some favoritism, for certain dunks and whatnot. But and obviously this is in LA, so this will be the hometown favorite, but we'll see if he actually has the creativity to be able to do something that we haven't seen before or something that will get us out of our seat. Action Jackson Hayes. All right, so he'll have the crowd, rooting for him, obviously here in LA, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to do a better dunk, and obviously having E40 participate definitely give you a little bit of flair. But I mean, this is not Vince Carter. This isn't Jay Rich. This isn't Levine. This isn't Aaron Gordon. This isn't Dominique. This isn't Jordan. This isn't Clyde. It's like, all right, what are we doing here? We're going between the legs. What was that? What was that? Golly. Is this the worst dunk contest of all time? Jesus. What was that? You had 3 out of the 4 participants doing like regular dunks. What is this? My God. Terrible. No flair out of the 3 out of the 4 dunkers. I mean, the only one that was good, that was actually worth talking about is the one with E40, but I mean, that's what happens when you end up getting 4 guys that no one's ever heard of, no swagger, no aura besides one of them, and again, this might go down as the worst dunk contest of all time. Yeah, well, they had it at this time slot because of Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is going to be on the Super Bowl next year. So anytime you end up having a holiday where people are going to be, possibly going out to dinner or having plans, that's the reason why they are, doing it early. And again, doing it later would have been better. I would agree with that. 5 o'clock Pacific, today and tomorrow would have been much better. But, I guess that's what happens when you end up having holidays fall on, an all-star celebration. So Carter Bryant and Keyshawn Johnson obviously did dunks that were okay. Hayes and Richardson were terrible. Crazy, man. I expected, I wanted to be able to say I expected more, but again, with, 4 no-name players, I mean, what do you expect, But at least we had one guy that, got the right formula, hit the Dougie, brought out E40, and actually had an okay, decent dunk, but not something that we haven't seen before. But, as far as the difficulty and whatnot, but, that's the problem. If you're not going to be able to have your best contenders participate, how do you expect the fans to get in it when the players aren't even getting into it themselves? So, but I definitely have seen, high school dunk contests being a hell of a lot better than this. And, it shows you how far, that this event has dropped off in the last 10 to 15 years. Well, the one was okay. You jumped over E40, as far as difficulty. Did a little dance with the Dougie and whatnot. So, had a little bit of flair. I believe it is. Yeah, but it's definitely, pacing to go down as the worst dunk contest ever. And again, they need to go back to the skills competition as well. It's like everything that was good about the NBA in the 80s and 90s has been ruined by Adam Silver trying to cater to young kids. It's not working. Again, it needs to go back to rookie sophomores for yesterday's game. It needs to be the regular format, with the skills competition, the 3 and the dunk, and actually having good dunkers participate, that people have actually fucking heard of. And then obviously in the All-Star game, it needs to go back to East-West and actually have them play defense. I would rather watch East-West 115, 113 than alley-oops and no defense for 3.5 quarters and have it be 200 to 199. It's like, again, I feel like they don't have a pulse on what is going on for fans, moving forward. And, they're just, as long as they're getting paid, that's all they care about. And it's just kind of sad, the state of where the NBA is at, and you're still going to have fans that watch, but where the league was in the 80s and 90s as one of the best sports, between the NBA, MLB, NHL, and NFL, now you could probably, argue that NBA might be last out of the 4 major sports. And that's not a good thing. Gerald Green. I mean, even going back with D Brown and, some of the old school guys, Isaiah Ryder, even the ones that weren't like the most popular dunk contests, even those ones that were still like good, but not top tier, are a billion times better than what you see now. But again, imagine in this dunk contest if you had LeBron and you had Giannis and you had Wemby and you had Anthony Edwards. I mean, that would really bring fans back and want to tune in, and you wouldn't really know who would win, and that's what we need. But I don't think we're ever going to see that ever again, where we're going to have like Jordan and Clyde and, Dominique, that type of, atmosphere, and we've had, certain guys that have showed out, like Vince Carter was amazing. Jason Richardson was amazing. You had Dwight Howard, doing his thing. Obviously the last duel that was probably the best was probably the Levine-Aaron Gordon duel. That might have been the best dueling dunk contest ever, as far as two competitors besides maybe Dominique and Jordan back when I was a kid, but I'm not sure if we're ever going to get back to that point. Harold Miner, agreed. Yeah. Baby Jordan never panned out, but I know Mac McClung, can do some things, but again, he's like a G League guy, in the NBA, in the G League, and, he's won it multiple times, but, again, I don't know what the NBA was thinking with these four guys. I mean, it's just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. The 3-point contest is good, but other than that, and I did think that the, format for yesterday with, Team Vince, Team Mello, Team McGrady, and Team Rivers, I thought that was pretty good. I thought they played pretty well with Klingon and Yang Hansen, and, I feel like that rookie-sophomore type of setup yesterday, that was entertaining. That was pretty good, but you got 2 dunks left for Jackson Hayes, and now he goes for an in between the legs. Maybe he didn't want to do it on the first attempt. Two more attempts here for Hayes. Ooh, okay. I mean, that was a hell of a lot better than his vanilla dunk the first round. That was a night and day difference there. No, Mac isn't hurt. He just didn't want to participate. He's already won it a few times. So when you already win an event 2 or 3 times, sometimes, they don't want to see a guy in an event 4 years in a row. So, but that was a hell of a lot better than his first dunk. I mean, it's still not, get me out of my seat or anything, but for his long legs and long arms, I mean, that was a little bit better, than some of those dunks in the first round. .49 by Dominique Wilkins. Are you on crack? My God, what's wrong with these judges? Dominique thinks that's a 49? Christ. You got to be shitting me here. I mean, look at these dunks. These are fucking dunks here. Jay Rich. Jace Rich, no. I mean, you're too small, Not even close. This is wild. All right, what do we got here? At least we got some participation here. Let's see what Jace does. This is the first attempt. And he's kind of a smaller, athlete here, so. And obviously, when you end up being a shorter player, you sometimes, depending on the difficulty of the dunk, you can get some more points, but this guy's just too short. Doesn't have high enough hops to get up there. Shitty pass there. Oh, shit. Damn, Richardson fell hard there. I hope he's okay. Damn, he hit hard there. But that's what happens when you end up having 4 bench players in a dunk contest. They're going to get hurt. And another regular 360 dunk that everyone has seen, in their whole lifetime, even in high school. But, hopefully he's okay. But again, that's what happens when you get guys that can't dunk in a dunk contest. This is what you get. Luckily, that hair bounced off the floor rather than his head. That was a better dunk than his first dunk, but still nothing special about it. "43, 42, 43, 45, and 44. Those are kind of accurate scores for the first time all night. Johnson is going to win this by default, just based on his swagger, his height, and his athletic ability. There is no one that's going to beat him. But again, it's not really any competition. One guy can dunk and the other three can't. But let's see if Carter Bryant can do something here. Oh, Johnson's winning the event. There's no doubt about that. He brought out E40. Had the flare, jumped over him. It wasn't, insane, but compared to the other dunks that we saw that were so vanilla and boring, he's going to win this event, no doubt. Ooh, there we go. That might have been the best dunk of the night right there. There we go. And Carter Bryant had the second best dunk after Johnson in the first round. That one was nice. I mean, we've seen that dunk before as well, but at least it had a little bit of height and a little bit of flair. That's probably the best dunk of the night right there. Should be about a 48. Yeah, it should be Carter Bryant and Johnson in the final. And Richardson and Jackson, they can't even do that type of dunk. So, well, maybe Jackson could, but. "48, 49. Wow, 250s. Dwight Howard and Dominique Wilkins are smoking. What are they smoking? Are you kidding me? There's no way those are 50s. It's like they almost have to, up the score to get people, more juiced up about it. That's a disgrace to all the other, dunkers that have actually hit 50 dunks before, like Vince Carter. So you're telling me that's as good as a Vince Carter dunk? Give me a fucking break. All right, Johnson will be able to do something here. We got to wait for Johnson to complete his dunk here, and we'll figure out if he ends up being in first or second. 42-inch vert for Johnson. He's trying to do through the legs reverse dunk. Oh, that's a little flare. Probably like a 45, 46, something like that for that one. But he needed a 44 to advance, and that should be able to give it to him. It's about the length and the extension and the aura and the vibe and the flair. But it should be Carter Bryant and Johnson in the final. (46, 45, 46, 45, 45). All right, Hayes and Richardson are eliminated. And it's going to be Bryant and Johnson in the final. But it's definitely the most vanilla slam dunk contest I've ever seen. I've definitely seen better dunk contests by, McDonald's high school Americans than what we're seeing here. But that's what happens when you end up having, 4 no-name players participating. All right, we're going to a commercial break, and then we'll end up seeing who ends up winning this dunk contest between Carter Bryant from the Spurs and Keyshawn Johnson from the Miami Heat. Jackson Hayes from the Lakers and Jace Richardson from the Magic are eliminated, I believe. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And if you're just tuning in to the broadcast, Devin Booker and Damian Lillard were in the finals for the three-point contest. Damian Lillard hasn't played a minute this year, obviously with the Achilles, and ended up winning the event for the 3rd time in a row, tying Craig Hodges and Larry Bird. Shout out to my guy, Rip City, Dame Dalla, being victorious. And then obviously with the skills competition for the shooting stars, you had Team Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Allen Houston, and Jalen Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson, being champs in the second event. And then now we are in the dunk contest. And again, probably the most vanilla dunk contest that we've seen in quite some time. So hopefully the finals will be a little bit better, but we're on a commercial break, so I can't see. But again, the types of dunks that were attempted in that first round were very, very weak. I mean, the best one that we had in that first round was Johnson, jumping over E40 and dancing with him and, bringing him out, and then jumping over and dunking over him and then hitting the Dougie after. But, and then the other 3 participants didn't really do anything special. And obviously in that next round, mostly vanilla still. It really isn't anything up to the dunk standards, but, But again, with the final 2 participants left with Carter Bryant and Keyshawn Johnson, it could go either way. But we definitely have seen Dwight Howard and Dominique, kind of stretch a little bit their numbers with some 49s and 50s that didn't really deserve to be that high, but, it is what it is. But it was nice to see Con Kneppel, go at it with Dame as well as Devin Booker. And, again, that was probably the most exciting part of, this particular All-Star Saturday night. The three-point contest typically is the best and has been the best for quite a few years. I mean, besides, maybe the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, dunk contest where they both went at it. But, we've seen Mac McClung put on a show for a few years as well. But, it definitely is losing its magic. But again, if we had our old commish still alive running things, things would be much better than what Adam Silver is bringing. Feels like he's very out of touch, of what the NBA needs moving forward. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And there's Adam Silver. Has no clue how to run an NBA. I mean, bringing in the Sonics and a team from Vegas will be something that will happen shortly, but Seattle should have never had a team leave. First round score, 94.8 with those 2 dunks for Carter Bryant and 92.8 for Keshad Johnson for his 2 dunks combined. Had to go get my pup some food there. All right, here we go. Keshad Johnson. Oh, there we go. Through the leg with some authority there and a little dance afterwards. There we go. Somewhere between 48 and 49, I would assume, but we'll see. You might get one judge that does a little bit lower and another judge that, ends up going a little bit higher there. Lay down. Lay down. Daddy's almost done. $49, $50, $50, $50, $49. Wow. Panthers fan in the building. What's good? I love it. I mean, Kneppel, you already know. LaMelo Ball, you love it. Appreciate you. Stacks, Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 2:98 to go to hit that dono goal. Appreciate you, my guy. Ooh, they're definitely putting on a show, at least here in the final. But I definitely like what the Hornets have been doing. In the last few weeks, they've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They may not be like the Spurs, or the Thunder, right? But again, they've been balling out. Kneppel was a great draft pick. LaMelo Ball always can ball. And again, they do have a bright future. Let's look at this dunk here by Carter Bryant through the legs. Through the legs there. I mean, we obviously have seen that dunk, but based on some of the dunks that we've seen early on that were terrible and vanilla, these are much better, at this point. But at least the finals is, somewhat worthy, compared to the earlier rounds that were not really that worthy. So let's see what we get here. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50s across the board. Wow, I don't know about that. Carter Bryant might end up winning this. Again, when I think of 50, I'm thinking Jordan. I'm thinking like Vince Carter. I'm thinking Jason Richardson, I don't think that was a 50. I guess 50 compared to the other dunks that we've seen, but not like 50 dunks that we've seen in the past. Yeah, but Cooper Flagg and Conconneppel did great things at Duke. And again, I like watching the Hornets. Again, anytime that they're on when the Blazers are not on, I try to tune in. And, Kneppel is one of the guys that's a front runner to win Rookie of the Year with Cooper Flagg and with Edgecombe. So. All right, let's see what Keyshawn Johnson can do. Got to do something spectacular here. Ooh. Wasn't better than the other dunk, though. Probably somewhere in that 48 range. Panthers need O-line. Well, they need multiple positions, but again, you guys definitely had a good year, and, seeing Bryce develop was fantastic. Stacks, Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. We're at 4. 96 to go to hit the Dono goal. Appreciate you. And again, hopefully the Buccaneers and the Panthers will keep battling it out. Obviously, the Saints have hit rock bottom, and the Falcons just are injury prone. And again, I would like for the Bucs and the Panthers to continue to get better. And again, it definitely stung a little bit that we couldn't play any defense late in the year. But again, you guys ended up starting off the playoffs on a good note against the Rams and almost beat them. And I was really proud on the way that you guys played and represented the NFC South. Judah in the building, what's good? 48, 48, 48, 47, and 48. Carter Bryant should end up winning this. But again, the first round was very, very vanilla. And again, when you have 4 no-name players in a dunk contest, what do you expect? But you hope that at least one out of the 4 can give you at least somewhat a Mac McClung type of performance, who has ended up winning this, slam dunk championship in recent memory. So. All right, Carter Bryant needs a 47.5 to win the dunk contest, and if I had to put money on it, I'd bet that he does. Through the legs. Ooh. Oh, he missed it. Yeah, for sure. And again, we obviously know, the Saints are kind of rebuilding and retooling. The Falcons are trying to get their team to, be towards the top, but always have injuries. Through the legs, off the backboard, no. But once they fire Todd Bowles and I can get Mike Tomlin as head coach, then we'll be able to compete again. Again, we got an offense with Baker, but our defense is terrible. All right. Last attempt here. Come on, Carter Bryant. Oh, he missed it. You got one last chance. You got 10 seconds. You better get up there. Yeah, and that's not going to win him. Carter Bryant could have won it, but the difficulty on that last dunk was a little too much there. And Johnson should win this now. Megan with a 50. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I know you're on cloud 9 with the Seahawks victory. Still on cloud 9 and still will be on cloud 9 for quite some time. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. And let me know what you guys want to do photo-wise, Panthers fan and Megan, and I can do a couple of those before we end up ending the stream. We got the Daytona 500 tomorrow and the NBA All-Star Game as well. Happy Valentine's Day. Appreciate everyone in the building. Shout out to Panthers fan and Megan. And again, the 3-point contest was great. Damian Lillard winning it, without playing a minute this season. being a 3-time winner like Craig Hodges for the Bulls and Larry Bird for the Celtics, which was amazing. That's probably the highlight of All-Star Saturday night. .44, 43. Dwight with a 40, 43, and 45. Dwight going too low and too high with his numbers. And Keyshawn Johnson is the slam dunk champion. No, absolutely. I would be too. And it feels good to join the club of Super Bowl winners that have won twice. You know, obviously, you know, with the Buccaneers and the Ravens, and now with the Seahawks. And it shows you improve the offensive line, you improve the defense, you draft well, offensive line and safety like the Buccaneers did with Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield Jr. You did it with Zabel and Emanwari. And if you end up, you know, bringing in the right people and letting others walk like DK and Lockett, you know, it opened up the door for JSN not only to be the best wide receiver on the Seahawks, but to be the best wide receiver in the game and an ass whooping in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And it feels good that the Pacific Northwest is getting some love. Oh, yeah, Kuechly, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what it is, man. He was one of my, you know, favorite. I'm a linebacker guy through and through, so I absolutely love, you know, watching linebackers and how they develop. It's my favorite position, probably overall, you know, on the defense. And again, there's not too many guys that were like Brian Urlacher in that time, but Kuechly was a true one of one. I'm glad your friend is improving. And anything that you guys want to do photo-wise before I end up ending this stream, let me know. Panthers fan, you want some Luke Kuechly or any Panther Bryce Young, you let me know. Megan, anything that you want photo-wise, let me know, and I got you. And then we got the Daytona 500 tomorrow, which will be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. So it'll be a little bit early for the coverage. Race will probably start around 11-ish, I assume, Pacific time. And then after that will be the NBA All-Star Game round robin tournament that I believe that'll start around 2. So it might overlap. I'm hoping that the Daytona 500 will be over in time for me to do both. But again, I'm going to do the Daytona 500 and then hopefully I'll have time for the All-Star Game, but I might not. So. All right, let me get some Luke Kuechly up there and I can get some Seattle Seahawks representation for you as well. And hopefully one day in the dunk contest, we'll actually have 4 guys that we've heard of instead of 4 guys that no one knows who the hell they are. So, but the 3-point contest was really the story of the night with Damian Lillard. That's facts. Brandon in the building. What's good? Tiny, no problem. See if I can squeeze in one more and we'll get some Seahawk representation for Megan here. If there's anything else you want, representation-wise, let me know and I got you. Appreciate you. And again, I'm really looking forward to the rivalry building up between the Panthers, your Panthers and my Buccaneers. And again, I tried to, get the team to a good point. But again, we played good football in the first month and a half and terrible football the rest of the way. And again, you have to have good defense to be able to win any division. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. And the Panthers were able to steal that last spot and almost, beat the Rams. So even though they didn't win, they set the tone on how the playoffs were going to go. And I think that it made a lot of NFC South fans proud. That, obviously I would have rather had it been the Buccaneers, but again, if you don't have a defense, you don't want, if we would have made the playoffs, we would have got absolutely fucking obliterated. So I'm actually kind of happy the Panthers went and they played well. If the Bucs would have went, we would have got absolutely destroyed by the Rams. So, and again, normally when our defense is good, we're going to be able to compete with anyone. But again, we need to fire Todd Bowles, hopefully bring in Mike Tomlin. And he has, been a part of our coaching staff in the past. So he'll take a year off, spend time with his kids. They'll fire Todd Bowles after this year. And then hopefully Mike Tomlin will be the new coach, going into 2027, at least fingers crossed. But Megan, let me know what you're thinking photo-wise. I'll start it off with a little Sam Darnold representation, a guy that definitely was overlooked, but it is a team effort. And again, Seattle doing things that certain teams that have never done, like no turnovers in the entire playoff run, which is absolutely fucking insane if you really think about it. And they were a complete team, offense, defense, special teams, lost 3 games total by a combined 9 points. That's not something that happens often, right? They lost to the Niners week 1, by 4, lost to the Buccaneers by 3 in week 5, and the Rams in week 11 by 2. And then after that, they didn't lose a game. It was one of the most impressive seasons that I've seen from beginning to end. And Seattle should be a contender going into next year as well. And I'll get you some Zorn as well. And again, the first quarterback in that draft class, to win over Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, who would have thought? But again, he was great on Minnesota, great in Seattle, and I love seeing journeymen succeed. Not everyone is going to be able to, be hyped up and, go all the way. And sometimes you got to go to your second, third, fourth, fifth team, before you find a really good fit. And that's really what it's about. It's not individual, accolades, it's team accolades. And we definitely saw the definition of team earlier this season with the Seattle Seahawks. And hopefully that'll rub off on the Mariners. And hopefully the Mariners will be able to be in the World Series against the Dodgers in this upcoming season. But the vibes are very high in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, we don't really know how many minutes, we're going to be getting. with some of the all-star players, but it should be interesting. And we got the Daytona 500 tomorrow, as well as the NBA All-Star game. I'm going to try to do both. I don't know if I'll have time, but I'm going to try to make the Daytona 500 thumbnail now. So that way, that'll give me a little bit more time going into tomorrow. And then if I don't have time, or if there's a rain delay, then I'll just end up watching the NBA All-Star game. So, oh, really? That's awesome. Anything else that you want to be able to represent on the channel before I end the stream, since the event has ended? Let me know. Panthers fan, Megan, anything else that you guys would like to see? And again, Daytona 500 will be on at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, so I'll be doing that. And then the NBA All-Star Round Robin tomorrow, I believe, starts at 2 o'clock Pacific, I believe. So normally these events start at 5 o'clock Pacific, but since it fell on Valentine's Day, they decided to do them a little bit earlier, which isn't really ideal for ratings, but, it is what it is. All right, I got you. Just regular DeLorean picks that we've had before, or are you talking about the ones that, like, specifically you, that when you went on your trip? All right, let me delete some of these other photos to make a little bit of room. Okay, I can do both. All right, so we got you, obviously, there, in front of one of the amazing DeLoreans. Awesome photo. And let me see what I can pull up here. DMC 12.
It's go time. And at AAA, we're here to keep you on your way, wherever you're going, and whoever you get there. Here, with a full-service travel agency, and peace of mind, just the right service. Here, organization,
See if I can find one more for you. Appreciate you. That DMC 12, baby. Have you got a chance to put together any of your Lego sets that you got, the collectible ones? I assume you haven't. It sounds like you've been really busy since your trip and whatnot. So, but if you end up putting any of them together, I know some you're going to keep in the box like I would, and then there's going to be some that you might end up opening just depending on what it is. So, but I appreciate you very, very much. And again, shout out to Panthers fan and Megan coming through at the very end and making sure that we can end this stream off on a good note. Staying in the boxes. Yeah, got to get doubles. I agree. Anything else that I can throw up for you before we go? And then once I sign off, I'm going to start making the Daytona 500 thumbnail. And hopefully Chase Elliott, who ended up winning duel number 2 with Joey Logano winning duel number 1 at the duel at Daytona a few days ago. Hopefully Chase Elliott will be able to be victorious. No problem. Okay, cool. Yeah, and again, if you're available tomorrow, just come in, let me know, and I'll try to squeeze them in between commercials and whatnot. I do appreciate you very, very much. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Fantastic rest of your weekend. Same thing with you, Panthers fan. And again, All-Star Saturday night is come to a close. And again, I will be doing Daytona 500, 10:30 a.m. Pacific will be the start. It'll probably be, 3 to 4 hours, depending on rain and whatnot. They're, moving it a little bit earlier to avoid some of that rain. And then again, the NBA All-Star game, I believe, is 2 o'clock Pacific. But again, I might not be able to do both. It might overlap. So, but I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to you guys with all of the love and the commitment that you guys had to the channel. Shout out to your brother for the birthday, and hopefully you can catch up with him. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy holidays for everyone, whether you're celebrating with a significant other or not. And again, I'm going to be spending some time with Paisley Pup. I got another walk to go on with her, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I am out. Gang.